Hey guys, Scott here again with a new beer dissection video. No what is style this evening. What I have today from Sand City Brewing Company out of Northport, maybe East Northport, but Northport, Long Island here in New York. It's called Cosmic Disorder. Okay, pretty fancy can, keeping up with the Joneses here. Very eye-catching. Nowadays, you've seen a lot of these breweries. They're putting, very artistic kind of a, can. Almost like you shop. Part of the experience of shopping for beer, besides looking for certain styles, is some of the snazzy cans you have here. Now, this is only the second beer I've had from Sand City, even though I live here on Long Island myself. I did a video on "Oops, I Hopped My Pants," which is pretty kitschy little saying. I did that one a couple of months ago. So, but I do have good memories of that beer. It was very good. I believe it was another IPA or maybe another double IPA. So this is a double IPA. It's coming in about 8.5% alcohol. Again, I was pleasantly surprised. The first one I had, like as I said, the "Oops, I Hopped My Pants." If you're interested in that, take a look at that video. But I really enjoyed that one. So double IPA and at 8.5% alcohol, that's pretty standard strength. So what are we looking at? We're probably gonna be looking at something very high on hop flavor and aroma, maybe on the verge of a hybrid between a double IPA and a New England IPA. But we'll see when we crack this thing open. I've never had this one before at all. I literally got a suggestion from a friend who said Sand City, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm familiar. I had one beer from them. So I sent my wife, I said, just get anything from Sand City, and she came home with these. So let me show you my typical tulip. So most of my IPAs, I like something, stemmed, wide kind of body to with some surface area, let the hops kind of come up with a narrow tip there to kind of concentrate the hop aroma in there. Okay. So again, Cosmic Disorder from Sand City Brewing Company. I'm hoping this is even half as good as the other one I had from them, and we'll be doing very well. Again, here's the nice little can. I'll probably have a couple pictures popping up over my shoulder. So let's crack this bad boy open. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's pouring a little bit like a New England IPA or any double IPA, American IPA that you would see out there. So we have, little dank looking, kind of a medium gold color. I didn't pour it too aggressively, but we got a nice white head, pretty tight bubbles there. But again, for double IPAs, I don't really, criticize it by the clarity and stuff. Most of these IPAs these days are being brewed, especially double IPAs, sometimes with oats and even some unmalted wheat at times to create some of the cloudiness. And of course, from all the hop matter and polyphenols from there. So this is pretty standard. So we wouldn't necessarily be looking for a perfectly clear beer, but you can see kind of a cloudy, hazy style. And again, I'm expecting this to kind of be a cross between like a strong American IPA / double IPA with kind of like a New England IPA touch to it too. All right. So let's take a swiff of this aroma before it goes away. Oh yeah. Nice. You kind of get like a pineapple, light grapefruit, not blasting you away, but nice pineapple, grapefruit, tropical fruit kind of aromas in there. That typical kind of white bread, wheat aroma from the hop, malt, the malt component to the aroma. What I meant to say. Very good though. Very, if I recall, it smells a little bit like their "Oops, I Hopped My Pants." I didn't see on the can. I'm presuming all this is fresh. If I can throw my glasses on real quick for you guys. I don't think they have on here what hops they're using, but it's not that important, but it does smell really good. But you got that pineapple, maybe slight mandarin, grapefruit. Okay, so cheers, guys. Yeah. Still, a little tropical fruit, maybe pineapple, even a little mango. I wasn't getting that in the aroma too much. Subtle grapefruit, okay, like a pithy, you know, you get some of the pith from the grapefruit. Kind of gives that little slight tartness to it. It's kind of got a pronounced to kind of assertive bitterness. Maybe not as much as some of my West Coast IPAs I've had, but being a double IPA, I'm expecting the IBU units at 60, 80 or so, maybe even higher for bitterness. But again, sometimes it's perceived bitterness that's more important because the IBU number can be very high, but you're balancing the malt. It's a double IPA at 8.5%. The malt level is going to be really high, the malt that's being used. So when you have all that sugarness, if you don't have a high IBU unit, it's going to come across as being very cloyingly sweet. The same thing is if you have a high IBU unit, but the malt level is lower, okay, you may get the perception of it being very bitter, even though maybe the IBU units are at like 60, but the malt is reduced. So again, it's more about perceived bitterness and sweetness than the actual IBU units. That's the most important. But this is very nice. So, you know, I think they're 2 for 2 for the IPAs that I've had and double IPAs. But again, pineapple, mango, maybe a little bit of grapefruit, but not as much grapefruit as a lot of New England IPAs that I've had. But as it sits there, there's a little alcoholic warmth, and 8.5%, I would expect that. Not really astringency, you know, there's a lot of bitterness and stuff like that, but it's pretty mellow. You know, but you could see it is kind of a full mouth feel because it is a double IPA. You know, not much, you know, I wouldn't say there's creaminess on here. You know, moderately carbonated, but a very nice double IPA, I have to say. Okay, but I would drink this one carefully, 8.5%. But just trying to get the aftertaste now. You know, that pithy grapefruit that you do get, even though I think it's a little bit more dominant with the tropical fruit, pineapple type of thing, that pithy grapefruit, you know, if that was giving anything negative to the flavor and the mouthfeel, it kind of fleets away. So you're kind of left with more of the pineapple, tropical fruit kind of flavor to it. Again, it's a very strong double IPA. I would, you know, Stilton cheeses, typical blue cheeses, something that's, you know, I would not shy away from a very pungent kind of cheese if you were going there. Maybe like anything kind of aged. You know, I would shy this beer away from a lot of light seafood dishes and things like that. I probably wouldn't go there too much. But, you know, it would go okay with some Jamaican jerk food, Puerto Rican kind of fare, any Spanish, you know, along those lines that uses like highly spiced, you know, corianders. I like to use a lot of my IPAs that have a lot of this tropical fruit. Think of foods that you put like salsas on, mango salsas and tacos. I've said this before in some of my other videos. That's my own personal preference though. Drink it with whatever you want to drink it. But again, I usually like to kind of evaluate it quickly before I, you know, tune out from you guys. But pineapple, light orange, pithy grapefruit, you know, a little bite up front, but then it mellows out to just kind of fruit, subtle. I get, again, a little tartness on the back of my tongue, maybe a little bitterness there that lingers. But again, very good. I mean, again, I sometimes grade these beers, sometimes I don't. I would definitely give this a good A. From Sand City Brewing Company again, Cosmic Disorder. Those of you that don't live in the Long Island area may have a hard time finding this. I don't know what their distribution is like, but definitely recommend it. And if you're on Long Island, you may already be familiar with this. But I think they're 2 for 2 on beers I've tasted from there, from Sand City Brewing Company. All right, guys, till the next beer dissection or what is style, I will see on the other end. But definitely check this one out. Okay, I'm really going to enjoy the rest of this. Have a great night, guys. Take care.